Once upon a time, there was a monastery of unparalleled beauty and serenity, surrounded by ancient forests and bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. In that monastery, young disciples learn, practice, and train to become fully ordained monks. They have to go through a rigorous and disciplined process of learning and personal development. The path to become a monk was not easy, and one has to face many challenges and hardships along the way. The last and an important task to become a monk was to climb up the highest peak of the mountain where there was a sacred cave. The cave was very long and dark and full of mysteries. Inside the cave, there was a statue of Buddha, which was said to have miraculous powers. Young disciples had to go there alone and spend one night in the cave meditating in front of the statue. This was a test of young disciples' faith and courage, and that if they succeeded, they would receive a great blessing. Every young disciple has to go through this last test alone to complete the training. There was a young disciple named Taki who wants to become a monk, and he was going through the process and training. He was a kind and gentle soul, but he had one weakness. He was afraid of the dark. Every night when the sun went down, Taki would become anxious and fearful. He would spend hours lying awake in his bed, listening to the sounds of the night and imagining all sorts of terrible things lurking in the shadows. He was feeling nervous about his last test, where he has to spend a night in long and dark cave on the mountain all alone. The day arrived when Taki has to complete the last task of his training. Before leaving for his journey, he went to his master to take his blessings. Master said, "Taki, remember your training and have faith and courage. In the darkest moments of fear, remember your lessons which you have learned here. Summon all your strength and courage, calm your mind, and face your fear head on. If you want to help and change the world, then you must be very best in your darkest moments. Trust in yourself and in the divine power that guides you." Taki gathered his courage. He took his robe, his bowl, and a staff and set off for the mountain. He walked for several hours, following a narrow trail that wound up the slopes. He saw many beautiful sights along the way: waterfalls, flowers, birds, deer. He felt a sense of wonder and gratitude as he admired the nature around him. He also encountered some difficulties like rocks, thorns, wild animals. He felt some pain and fear as he faced these obstacles, but he did not let them stop him. He used his staff to fend off any attacks and chanted some mantras to calm his mind. He reached the top of the mountain just before sunset. He saw the entrance of the cave, which was marked by a stone arch with some ancient carvings on it. He felt a chill as he approached it, as if there was some invisible force trying to push him back. He took a deep breath and stepped into the cave. It was dark and cold inside, and he could barely see anything. He felt a surge of fear. He walked slowly and cautiously, feeling his way through the walls and rocks. He heard strange noises and echoes in the cave, which made him shiver and sweat. With trembling legs, he began to walk in the cave. Each step felt like an eternity. Fear clawed at his chest. He wanted to run away, but he could not move. Then he remembered his master's teachings and lessons and his last words before the journey. In the darkest moments of fear, summon all your strength and courage, calm your mind, and face your fear head on. If you want to help and change the world, then you must be very best in your darkest moments. Taki said to himself, "You have created this fear in your mind, and you can destroy it too." Taki gathered his inner strength and all his courage in those darkest hours. He walked through his fear into the dark, long cave. He used his staff to feel his way around until he reached a large chamber at the end of the tunnel. There he saw it, the statue of Buddha. It was made of gold and it shone with a faint light in the darkness. It had a serene smile on its face and its eyes were closed in the meditation. Taki felt a surge of awe as he looked at it. He felt as if he was in the presence of something divine and powerful. He bowed down before it and placed his bowl on the ground as an offering. He then sat down on the floor, crossed his legs, and closed his eyes. He began to meditate, following his breath and repeating his mantra. He felt a wave of peace wash over him, as if he was being embraced by a warm light. In the next morning, Taki returned to the monastery with peace in his mind. He thanked his master and he became a fully ordained monk. In his journey, he learned that fear is an illusion created by our mind. It is not real. To overcome fear, one must learn to see beyond the illusions that the mind creates. The first step to conquering fear is to acknowledge it without judgment. We must recognize and understand our fears without feeding into them. Now focus on a positive thought, a thought that fills your heart with courage and strength. Let this thought be your guiding light amidst the shadows. As you fill your mind with positivity, you will notice a shift in your perspective and your mind starts reflecting courage and resilience even in the face of fear. Fear could be conquered by the power of presence, awareness, and self-compassion. Taki became popular as fearless monk, a young disciple who had found the strength to conquer his greatest fears and had become an enduring source of inspiration for all who crossed his path. Thank you and keep smiling.